Excited about that, and you know, the weather. Dana says the weather guys are never accurate anyways, so we don't have to worry about the weather tomorrow. It'll probably be 75 and sunny, but you know, I think our players are looking forward to it. This football team is dramatically different than last year's team. I think every team every year is different, but this group is enjoyable to be around. They're working hard, and I think they're excited about the competition that we got at some positions there, and they know in spring ball all positions are open, and you know, I sense that there's a lot of excitement from their standpoint. They're in there getting their ankle braces and getting their gear ready, and they've been doing that since they got back on Monday, and just got a little bit of a different feel to them. So we're excited to get them out there. As you guys know, we've had some coaching changes, position changes, and those type of things, and you know, we brought in Mauro Mons. He's going to coach our tight ends. He had coached with Shane Montgomery in the past, and actually Carmen Brasillo. He's a Duquesne guy that played there from Pittsburgh, recruits that area, and he's a guy that I actually considered the first time around, but just never got to him, and so we're excited about having him here. He'll work with the tight ends. Andre Coleman, who worked with the tight ends last year, will move to receivers. That's probably a little bit more of his natural position, being that he played obviously at Kansas State in the NFL at receiver, so he's excited to have that opportunity. And then over on the defensive side of the ball, we moved Rick Kravitz back to safeties. Rick's primarily been a safeties coach the last 10 years. He's been involved more with the safeties than he has the linebackers. He felt like calling defenses and being a coordinator. He wanted to have more of that responsibility on his shoulders, so he wanted to move back to safeties. We're going to move Roland Smith from assistant D-line coach to corners. Obviously, you guys know Roland coached defensive backs over at Ursuline for many years over there. He's had a bunch of those guys, so he'll be working with the corners along with Coach Kravitz. And then at linebacker, we've got Coach Buffano and Coach Stoops, and those two guys will basically coach the 3 and sometimes 4 linebacker looks that we'll utilize this year on defense. So that's the gist basically of the coaching changes we've had there. Coach Longo and myself just kind of had basically a meeting and felt like there were other opportunities out there for him, and we decided to part ways. And I understand that those things happen, and you got to do what's best for you and your family, and that's just kind of understood in this profession. Moving along to the players side of things, we've got 5 new players here this spring as far as junior college players we signed. They've all done well and adapted well, being that they're from all over different parts of the country. I kind of wonder how they would adapt, and it's always good to see them come back after spring break smiling. So, but I think those 5 guys are going to give us some more competition in some key positions and fill some voids that we lost with last year's class. But starting on the offensive side of the ball, at offensive line, we'll start out with Radakovich at left tackle. Cole Grove, we're going to move from tight end. You guys knew that was kind of happening. We're going to plug him in there at left guard. We'll start out with Pratt at center. That's the junior college player we signed from Utah. And then at right guard, we'll have Chris Elkins, who started the last 5 or 6 games there at the end of the year. And at right tackle, we'll have Lamar Mady, the kid we signed from Butler Community College. And then from there, Fred Herdman's been making some progress and strained his back, so I don't know if I'll get a chance to see him out there this spring. I was encouraged by some things he's been doing. We got Zach Larson, Cinco, Stevens, and Stephen Page and J.P. May. And those guys have all had great off seasons, and it's going to be a competitive atmosphere. We're going to be constantly changing that depth chart and moving things around and trying some different guys at different positions. I think in a perfect world, we'd like to get DJ Main back in there at right tackle, like we were at the beginning of the year, and then that'll give us a chance to move Mady back around a little bit, or get someone else to step up there at guard. So we feel like we've strengthened our offensive line there as far as overall size. And you don't never know until you get the pads on, but it's been encouraging to see those guys work hard and do the things that we need them to do in order to be successful on the field. Going back to the tight end position there, we'll have Charbaugh starting out, and then you got Rogers coming in there, and then you got Nate Adams, who you guys didn't get a chance to see very much of. Nate's a guy that can stretch the football field. He can really run, and he'll be a freshman obviously next year. We're excited about him and get out there and see what he can do. But I think he'll give us a deep threat down the field there as far as a viable passing option. Charbaugh gives us that too, and Rogers, but I think Nate's a little bit more of a wide receiver type hybrid that brings some things to the table there. You go back to the quarterback position. Obviously Kurt's returning. He's come back and held up well from his wrist injury there. And then you got, it's really wide open. You got a bunch of guys there that need to get reps. You got Konetsky, who's done a good job, and he's an overachiever and works hard. And every time he gets in there, he moves the ball down the field. And then you got the transfer we brought in, Najee Tyler from Purdue, who's had a chance now to be here for a period of time that it's understood that he needs to run the offense, and give him an opportunity to do that. And then you got Patrick Angle, the kid we're excited about. We signed from last year's class, who some people in Ohio thought he was probably one of the top quarterbacks in Ohio. And we're excited about him. So it's going to be pretty fun to see those guys get out there and compete. And might be a day or two where we go out there and just let's let two guys go all day and see what they can do. So we talked about that in staff meetings, and want to give these guys opportunities. You jump back to the running back position, and that's a pretty good position to be in around here if you're a running back coach. But we got Cook, who's probably our hardest worker. You guys have heard me say it before, and it's always good when probably one of your best players is your hardest worker. That's a good situation to have as a coach. I told our football team at the end of the year last year, why did Jermaine Cook have success? Why was he successful? Why was he durable? Why did he receive all these accolades? Well, because he's our hardest worker, and that's important for our foundation when we try to establish a foundation here. And then you got Bellamy, you got Alan Jones, you got Torian Pace, you got Jordan Thompson. So you got a bunch of other guys that are tremendously talented, a little bit unique in their own way, and they're fighting for jobs, and they know it. And they got to take care of the football, do what we ask them to do, play with the fundamentals we need, understand protections, and with that depth there, it should help us on special teams too. And we want to get those guys more involved so they can have a bigger impact on the game. And then you jump over to the receiver position there, and Jelani Barrasso will still be out. He's recovering from his knee injury that he had in camp. That was probably a more of a devastating loss than I initially anticipated. I feel like he's a guy that can stretch the field, and he'll give us a deep ball threat. So it'll be good to have him out there doing some things, but he won't be full go by no means. But we're going to get him out there and let him run around a little bit, catch a few balls. And then you got Kevin Watts, freshman that played there last year. Julian Harold played a little bit. Andre Barbosa that's played some. Eli Ducatel there, and Pat White. So it's a position that we feel like we're a little bit. Our depth is a little bit thin, but it's going to give us an opportunity to get guys a lot of reps. And we want to really develop the overachiever type mentality in that group. We want to get those guys to respond to coaching, become playmakers, and find out who these guys are. And I feel like we're a little bit untapped right now at that position as far as being able to be guys that can be impact players in the football game. You jump over to the defensive side of the football. I think you always got to start up front because that's where it all starts. If you're going to be good on defense, you got to be good up front. And we got two new guys there. You guys know we brought in. We got the Cracker that we brought in, and Josh Fenderson. And the Cracker came back from spring break and told me he's getting married on May 27th, so he's all excited. And it's been a long-time sweetheart, so I told him I wouldn't be able to make the wedding, but we're excited he's getting married and happy. But he's excited to be here. He's worked tremendously hard. Josh Fenderson's another guy that's worked really hard. And you got Obina, who'll be back a year older, a year mature. He's got some physical tools, and we expect him to kind of come into his own. Then you got Daniel Stewart. You know, you got Daniel Stewart there, and then you also got Andrew Johnson. So, you know, we feel like those 5 guys just stepping off the bus right there. We're probably a little more athletic, a little faster than we have been, and now we've got to just play a little bit better and do a better job of getting some pass rush there and some key situations. But we feel like we've upgraded there at that position. And you got guys like Searle and DJ Moss and Brandon Green and those guys that are going to help us there. And they're, you know, those guys are young guys. Expect them to get better this spring and develop some fundamentals so we can become a deep group. Jump back to the linebacker position, and John Sasson has really stepped up as far as his work ethic and his leadership. And John's an overachiever guy. You know, he gets basically everything out of that he's been given, and he's really taken on a role of being a leadership type guy. He's had probably the best him and Cookie have been the 2 stars really of our winter conditioning program as far as being first all the time, competing, pushing through, and the kind of things you want to see from your leaders of your program. So we're excited about him being back at middle linebacker, and hopefully we'll be able to get some other guys around him that'll continue to give him an opportunity to be successful. You jump, you know, behind him, we got Deontay Tate who's going to be playing some middle linebacker there again. And you got Sprague, and you got Brandon Steen, who can play some middle linebacker, and then you got that Will linebacker. You know, we've moved Will Shaw down there. We also got guys, you know, we feel like Will's a guy that needed to move down from safety to linebacker to give him the best opportunity to be successful, being closer to the ball. And then you got behind him, we feel like Brandon Steen and Sprague are guys that can play out there. And then you got Taylor Hill. So, you know, we always say that the 3 best guys are going to start. So we're going to be constant in moving those guys around. That's what you do in spring ball. You give them an opportunity to compete at one position, and then if the number 2 guy maybe at another position, you want to take a look at him as an outside linebacker, you take a look at him there so you can find out who can do what. And you know, it's just understood that you need to know everybody's assignment anyways. Then you jump out to Sam linebacker, and Dom Rich ended up starting a couple games for us last year there. And then behind Dom there, you got Ali Shaib's, another kid we brought in, and Ali's had a good offseason, you know. So that linebacker position is going to be real interesting to me to see it unfold, because you know, there's competition there, and that depth chart will probably change every day. And that's the way we like it, as far as just guys competing, who plays well, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we expect to play well all the time. You jump back there to the secondary, we'll move Donald Delisio back out the corner. That's probably the position that he should be at, and we'll play him out there at the field corner. Boundary corner, we'll play Boatwright. Backing those 2 guys up, we'll have Josh Lee, who was a receiver. You guys know that we moved him over. I want to give him a look. You know, he wasn't hitting the field necessarily at receiver, and I told him, I said, hey, you know, let's give you a shot over there at DB, see how you do. So we're going to play him a little bit corner, and we're going to play him at that nickel slot, nickel position there. So he's got multiple roles, and he embraces it. He's a senior. Football's important to him. And you got Grant Mays, transfer from Syracuse last year, and we need him to step up in there and try to make a run at these things. So we feel like we got 4 guys there as a starting point to get us started, and we've got a couple other guys that will get in there and battle with Romeo and those guys that are obviously big impact players there for special teams. Jump back at the safety position. We're going to start out with Deontay Williams at free. Deontay's the guy we brought in last year, played a little bit on special teams. He's athletically got what we want. We just got to find a way to get him out there and put him in a position to be successful, and he's encouraged about it. And with Will Shaw moving down and some Donald moving out, now he sees a golden opportunity, and it's his job to go out and show that he can handle it. You got Josh Garner, who's going to play the strong safety position, another freshman that played for us last year on special teams quite a bit and played a little bit in the games. He'll be more of that strong safety type guy that will bring down the box, and Josh is excited about, you know, coming in there and showing what he can do. And then we'll also put Josh Lee a little bit back there at the safety position. And then you know, we got Sentner, who's a returning starter. He's been hampered by a back injury. Hopefully he gets back from that. We haven't been able to get him through a whole segment yet, but he's going to give it a run here this spring and see what that thing looks like as far as his back injury goes. And then we got another guy from walk-on from Ursuline there, Austin, that's obviously going to get in there and get some reps there. So we feel like we got some guys. We got some guys in our two deep right now, both offensively and defensively, that'll give us a chance to have some competition and see where we are and make some moves accordingly. Special teams game, you know, we got Skirko back. He's a great long snapper. He's done a good job for us, and he'll be a senior next year, but he's doing a good job. And then List is back, who's had an outstanding year. Coach Matsakis has done a good job with him of refining his skills there at punting. And then obviously the kicker we signed from California, and you know, he hasn't ate too many wings until he got here, and now he eats wings all the time. So on his recruiting trip, he told me he didn't have any wings. He never had wings before. I couldn't believe it, but he says he's been going to Quaker State quite a bit and getting some wings. So he's enjoying Youngstown, and he's excited to be back. I'm kind of excited to see him kick, especially on some of those kickoffs. As you guys know, we like to see those things go in the end zone. But really, other than that, you know, our team's excited, and we're going to dwell on fundamentals. We're not going to worry about the weather. You know, the weather's the weather. Hopefully, if you're in playoff games around here, you're getting some little bit of cold and snow, and that's as you know where we're expected to be, and we embrace that opportunity. But we got to get back to alignment, assignment, technique, effort, fundamentals. You know, every play, every player, and every play is graded on alignment, assignment, technique, and effort. And those are the fundamentals, and we've got to continue to improve our fundamentals as a football team. Sometimes you got 7, 8 guys doing it, but not all 11 are playing fundamentally sound. And as coaches, sometimes we got to just continue to stress fundamentals, and spring's a big time for that. A lot of fundamentals are worked in springtime, and that's what we hope to accomplish in this 15 practice period. You guys know we'll start on Wednesday. The first day of hitting will be on Saturday. And you got the spring game on April 16th. That'll be, we'll have the tailgate lots open again. Quaker State and Lube's going to sponsor a wing eating contest for us. So we're going to try to get about 8,000 people here for a spring game, hopefully. And hopefully the weather will cooperate. Trevor Parks has assured me that it's going to. But we're excited about it and look forward to seeing you guys around, and you guys can start firing away.